Hello, welcome to my video review of Spiderio 380 ROM. This is version 1.2, not version 1.2b. A couple reasons for that. One, I would have had to extend out my test time because I already had tested with 1.2 and custom kernels. And I had to go back and do those custom kernel testings again. I usually do those for an entire day. So that compiled with the fact that I went to go up to 1.2b just to have it while doing the video review and to test a couple things out that said it was fixed to 1.2b and I could download it. I did take a screenshot and I'll be uploading to the forums later today. Make sure that the developer Spiderio is aware. So let's talk about this ROM for a moment and why I felt the need to test this ROM and postpone doing an AOSP or a CM based ROM. So I could take some time with this one. I know I had just finished an AOS or a LG Optimus UI based ROM right before this one, and usually I like to try and switch it up and go between the two. But in this case, I was very tempted, and it was the 380 DPI with the developer actually hacking and working with the launcher to provide custom launcher and with certain applications in here. Okay, so had to give it a try. The developer, by the way, is the same as the ROM's name, Spiderio, if I'm saying that right, Spiderio. Some of the things he's done are things like the 5x6 and 5x7 launcher. Let's see. He did edit the camera so that it does work at 380 DPI instead of the 480 DPI. So there are no boxes around it and no need to use app settings to change the DPI for that app specifically. That's very nice, and I wouldn't mind seeing the ability to do this on other apps. I would definitely use 380 DPI on other other ROMs. I said other apps earlier, I meant other ROMs. I would definitely use that on other ROMs and would stick with 380 over 400 if that was the case. Some other things, the radio app, which doesn't work for the D800. The music player, stock messaging application's been edited for it. There's a few more the OP didn't mention, and I know there is also an extra traffic meter status bar type mod that you can have for the ROM. I didn't test it out because I just don't use it, so I didn't test it out. Small things to note is multi-DPI from the Play Store, Viper for Android, which you do need to enable to adjust the volume, by the way. I learned that the volume was at full blast all the time, getting notifications and ringtones, and you'd go to change the volume and no go on those. Anyways, on games it was fine. When I enabled Viper for Android, which comes with the ROM, all those problems went away. So that's nice. And something else I noticed that I wouldn't have noticed if I hadn't taken the time to actually read through every page of the forum is that the boot animation has been muted. I do kind of like that. You know, maybe you like the sound. I don't really care for it. I'm more like we want to watch the animation, even though the animation is the standard LG one. Also, there's the 4K camera mods. Although in 1.2 the updated camera mods, so I think they're missing. Not a big deal. The camera performs admirably even without these. So let's go through the ROM. I'm not going to go through the settings because nothing really except for one place has been changed from stock. Of course, I got my exposed preference injection over there. But if we go down here to display, front touch buttons, button combination, and there you go. That's something that you don't normally get on the stock LG G2 ROM. I believe this comes from the G Pro 2. So, and I'm a big fan of this. However, the addition of this did kind of change some of the usability of G2 exposed as far as bleed immersive and things like that go. And if you were updating, watch my install video. I'll go over that actually. And so let's save some time there and just say watch my install video. We'll talk about what happens when you go to install the update from the original. If you're using the original version 1.1, then you go to update to 1.2, and you have an app taking over your nav bar. So it's there. Alright. Art. There is no art, at least there wasn't any art that I could find to make the changes. You could possibly use that flashable zip floating around XDA if you wanted to try art out. I didn't mess with it because I'm using exposed. So That's that. I did test with the stock kernel, Furnace kernel 2.0.1, simple kernel with the non-OC version 4, and of course version 4 simple with the OC. I did not spend the full day with the OC version. I did run some benchmarks. I did look at some battery life for a short period of time, so we have that for you. Again, why do you want to flash this ROM? Well, maybe you want to be like, if you're like me, you're curious about the DPI changes, it's a different approach, and this launcher, this 5x7 launcher here is pretty nifty. I do find myself liking it. It's wish they could do a little bit more around here to kind of bring this down some more, give you some more usable space here, but it's just like a TouchWiz ROM. You got to have the space, I guess, in between so you know which page you're on, but it's not really a complaint, it's just a suggestion because I do like this launcher size. Pretty nice. Other than that, if you don't plan on using exposed and you do like the DPI changes and you don't have to worry about the camera, that's another reason why you might want to go with this ROM. Why am I using exposed? To clean this up. That's really the only thing I'm using it for. To disable some of my notifications and to get rid of the battery but keep the percent. Center my clock. I mean, is it a big deal? No, but just how I like my phone. So, and because I couldn't use art, I couldn't really find a reason why not to use exposed. Not a big deal. The mobile hotspot doesn't work on the D800, at least it didn't for me. You can connect to it, but you connect to the internet. Let's see. Also, some things to mention from other ROM reviews I've done. Some ROMs have, and this one does too, the ability to take away or add the brightness sliders straight from the ROM without having to use exposed. I use exposed just so I can quickly hide them and bring them back without having to go all the way over there. So keep that in mind. This is very nice. It's clean. Not code. There is no not code, but you do get, again, like I said, the 5 keys for the navigation, like on the Pro ROMs. Multitasking, you get the slide aside and the Q slide. There is no split screen. Free RAM. Been using this for a little while. It's for 881 on a fresh reboot. I'll show you later. You'll get probably 0.93 gigs is what it usually gives for me. And now let's talk about the camera. Of course, again, I did test this camera using 1.2 and not 1.2B. A little disappointing. You're probably gonna get you're gonna get the Excalib. I'm saying his name right. You're gonna get his camera mods if you use 1.2B. So keep that in mind. However, I did not have any problems with the camera. Let me turn this around. I hate the glare over here. I am so sorry. Let me just like this. Okay. So I keep the glare out of it and bring it right here for you. So as you can see here, color application is great. Zoom looks good. You can see the detail here. This is with HDR, so this is standard. It's kind of got this yellowing. This is HDR, kind of cleans up some of that yellowing. It mutes some of these tones, but the detail is still there. You see the different colors here. Here we got some outside shots. It's taken in overcast. This is on normal. I mean, the detail is just, this camera is really great. I mean, this is probably the best camera I've seen on a smartphone. Out of all the smartphones I have, this is HDR. Not a whole lot of difference there. I do notice seems the greens, especially in the areas of direct focus, are a little crisper. This is regular for flowers. Obviously they're flowers. But these are wet flowers that have been raining. And I just want to show you the detail that we captured here. You can see the raindrops on the flowers really well, and you see the light coming off of it. It's really good. And this is HDR. This is more flowers, different colors. And the detail here is great. Color separation, the different tones. I mean, it does a great job. This is again overcast. This is video at 60 frames per second. Just nothing special, it's just wind. This is video at 120 frames per second. Now, this is at 720, and because I'm not using a special player, it's not going to slow it down. So you're not really going to see anything there. But you do have the ability to take slow motion video. This is indoor lighting. This is normal. Show you some color differences here. Again, this is just what you expect from the LG camera. I mean, it's great. I'm not a professional photographer, but I do appreciate good color replication, good detail in the zoom, and good light capture, which we have all of these elements here on an indoor photo. Okay? Let me pull up the benchmarks right quick for you, and battery life. We'll just transition right over there. Okay, so first day, stock kernel, 11 hours, 5 minutes of usage. We had 31% left, 3 hours of screen on time. So let's look at this graph here. We can extrapolate that with my usage and using 22% in the last 3 hours. So we could easily say that we'd get 4.5 hours out of this first test, and this is before the ROM really had a chance to set in. Okay, this is just kind of going over some of the things that it used, and this is showing the wake locks for that first test. This benchmark is actually from Furnace kernel, and we did have some requests for Antutu. It's the Antutu benchmark. This is the temperatures we had after running those benchmarks. And this is kind of showing you what settings we had. We had a deadline, we had the on-demand governor, 2.2 gigahertz and 96 on the low end. This is day number 2, battery testing. We've got 8 hours, 44 minutes of usage. Doesn't sound like a whole lot, but it's a lot of usage for me using it. 1 hour, 27 minutes. This is on Furnace kernel. And then this is on the simple non-OC kernel. We got 28.210, 19.791. Like another test when I gave it a few more minutes to cool down, 21.372, and that's on the non-OC. Okay, these are some pretty little indicators of the temperature and the settings that we had the phone at when we did the last benchmark. This is just showing that in Google Play Music, and I think this is because of my lock screen notifications widget that I have, that unlike normal KitKat where it takes up this whole screen, unless you slide down like this, you don't get that full screen. It's still not quite full screen. So, and again, that might be because of my lock screen notifications. I'm not really sure, but it's the first time I've noticed it not do it. So here we go, 16 hours and 4 minutes off the charger, all the way down to 10%. And I got to be honest with you, the last hour was just constant screen on, just trying to get this thing down. And that was playing games and watching YouTube. And I got 5 hours of screen on time. Okay, I very easily could have got another half an hour. I mean, the way it was draining. When I started to try and drain this down, it was at 20%. I used it for an hour straight, like I said, and added another hour of screen on time, and so still had 10% left. So I mean, conservatively, easily, I could have got another hour, maybe, but I want to say safely 30 minutes. It's 5.5 hours of screen on time. Really good, in my opinion. These are my wake locks. Okay. Here's another benchmark. This is on the OC Antutu. Here we go. And I went ahead and took a screenshot of this other page here, and this is from the same bench you can see here at 5:43 a.m., 5:43 a.m. This is on the OC. Okay. This is some temperatures I got from today. We had some, I was participating in some forums for Simple Kernel, and we had some questions about, that were posted about temperatures. This is the temperature I had for playing games for about 15, maybe 20 minutes straight. Give it, as you can see here, it's 119, 125, some time to cool down, and then even more time to cool down in my freezing cold office. Really, this AC works really well here. We're at 26 degrees here. Okay. This is a benchmark on the stock kernel. I did revert back to the stock kernel because I realized I didn't actually do any benchmarks for my review on the stock kernel. Here we are, 19.806. And then before I gave up on everything, we're sitting here at 10 hours of screen on time, 2 hours and 6 minutes of, I'm sorry, 10 hours of usage, 2 hours and 6 minutes of screen on time. Here are our wake locks. Some more benchmarks on the kernel. Again, this is the stock kernel 28.634 and 17.531. It seems like it's very subjective to the speeds or to the temperatures of the CPU. The CPU throttling seems to be kicking on there a little bit. And then this is what happens when I try to download the 1.2b. Alright. Yeah, so we're still at 867. LTE didn't have any problems with LTE, except for, of course, when I first installed the ROM, because I didn't install the KitKat baseband after. That was a quick and easy fix. Again, if you want some more information on that, watch my install video. Rear notification light, it does work, but honestly it's been so long since I've been on stock, I'm not even sure if it's working the way it should on stock. It does turn on and then turn off when you get a notification. It doesn't pulse. I can almost swear I thought that stock pulses. And then, of course, when you get a phone call, it lights up while you're on the phone and stays lit while you're talking. This ROM is speedy, just as you've come to expect from any LG Optimus UI-based KitKat ROM. On the D800, it seems to be pretty fast, really responsive. I don't have any issues with it at all, honestly, and I've only ever had one crash, and I couldn't get a good logcat for it, and it was just a real random. I was using the phone, it got pretty warm, using it straight, and then it kind of slowed down, locked up, rebooted, and then it was fine. And usually a reboot heats the phone up a little bit more, but no problem. GPS works no problem here. Again, it tracks, it locks, there's no hesitation. It's quick, it's stock, baby. I mean, it's good. And again, here we are looking at this launcher. To note, I am using a Zuber widget because when I tried using the stock widget, which we can throw up here for you real quick. We'll go this direction here, and we'll grab the weather widget here. It says 5x2, but then we put it up here. Alright, you see it stretched out over here? You can't make it transparent. Okay, I did try. It does not work, and I should have expected it not to work because the widget itself has been hacked for the 5x7 launcher by Spiderio. So, should have expected it, but I did try. It doesn't work. G2 exposed. Again, check out my install video for some warnings about G2 exposed when you're using using it to control your nav bar. NMS, SMS work no problem, no APN adjustments. A2DP, what can I say? It's stock. It works on both my 4Touch and on Kia Uvo. On my 4Touch, you even have text message support. A2DP, metadata, no problem. Same thing with Kia Uvo. Sound is clear. It syncs fast. I mean, it's just as you come from expect from stock. So that's definitely a plus. Let's go ahead and reboot this before we start talking about the form itself. And we'll time it. So let's turn it off first. Power off. Okay. We've got our timer over here. You're going to have a reflection. This is why the phone for the review is shifted over so much, because of the reflection. See? I mean, you can't even see that screen. So let's get it turned off here. We're still flashing. Okay. It's going to be turned off. 1, 2, 3. We've started the timer. Let's talk about the form. Currently, this time, it's only 33 pages. Only 33 pages, folks. There's not a whole lot to read. 327 posts, the last of which was mine. And again, that's just making the video. That could have changed between now and then. Spiderio seems to be pretty involved. He does a good job maintaining this ROM, and he's very responsive. It seems like when there's an issue, he's pretty concerned about it, and he's quick to try to help. Wow, that was pretty quick. That was actually a pretty quick boot time, 27 seconds, 27.93, and I wasn't very quick on hitting the stop, so we could probably say 27 even. The ROM itself, version 1.2b, has 1,057 downloads, but in the actual ROM, the full version, the 1.1, which is around 1 gig, is 8,875 downloads. Okay, these counters are pretty useful, and it's probably why a lot of your developers ask you not to post mirrors or links to megalinks or whatnot. So I can understand that they're trying to keep track of how many people are downloading the ROM. If you're going to install this, I'm not going to say watch my install video again, but I will say I recommend fills, the latest fills. If you found this video useful, please give me a thumbs up. If you have questions or I didn't cover anything that you wanted to see concerning this ROM, please ask questions. I do have a baseline backup in here. As solid as what I use to revert back to the stock kernel before doing these tests. If you have questions about that, I can even show you how to do that in some other video, but it's pretty easy. Just do a custom restore and only restore the boot image. Okay, so again, thanks for your time. Hope you found this useful.